I'm Skip Couch. This is diverstalk.com, located in Clayton, New York, and we've got a little bit of club projects going on. We've got a trash dive this weekend in Clayton. It's May 16th, and it's going to start at 10 o'clock. All divers are invited. We are going to have some gifts to give away. After the dive, we're going to have some golf balls out there in the river and with numbers on them, and you pick the golf balls up and bring them in, and one per customer, of course. We don't want too many. We don't have that many gifts. We have tonight. We have Helen Cooper of Brockville, and she's a charter operator out of Brockville. She has her own dive shop, and she's been in the business quite a while, and I'd like to introduce you to Helen now. Hi, Helen.
Hi, Skip. How are you?
I'm great. We've been. Oh, we got a puppy dog in there too, I see. What's the name of your boat?
Okay. Well, we've got 4 dive boats. We've got the Helen C. that was our very first dive boat that started out 21 years ago. The Helen C is a 30-foot pontoon boat that takes up to 12 passengers, Transport Canada approved passenger vessel. Then we have our other pontoon boat that holds up to 20 divers called Not a River Queen. Then we have the Emily C that holds up to 20 divers based in Rockport. And our final boat is our little 6-pack boat called Silent Diver that holds obviously 6 divers and is also located in Rockport.
So Rockport, out of Rockport, okay.
Yeah, we run all 4 boats 7 days a week, usually starting in April, and we run right through until December, weather permitting, and we cover the U.S. wrecks as well as the Canadian wrecks.
Do you do a night dives during the week?
Yeah, we very often do evening dives starting at 6 o'clock. We have a number of groups that come up with us on a regular basis every week. So if there's any single divers looking to come out diving and they're in the area, we can usually hook you up with one of the evening dives with one of the groups that's going out. The weekends, it's whoever books first decides where the boat will go for the evening dive, but they're available 7 days a week.
Do you have air on board so they don't have to bring a lot of tanks, or do you have to have them refill? You have to bring enough tanks to go diving?
Well, we have rental tanks available if people are flying in that they don't want to bring their tanks, obviously, on the airplane. We have an air station based at our home base in Brockville called the Dive Brockville Adventure Center. We have 2 compressors, so we've got a fast turnaround for tanks as well as a full cascade system. We also do nitrox and any oxygen fills. We're rebreather friendly, so if we know that you're coming, we can also get some Zorb in for anybody that needs it. We also have a satellite air station located at Cages Resort in Rockport, so anybody that's under the river, we can accommodate air fills. We're actually putting in a brand new compressor in the next couple of weeks that will be able to have a high turnaround, so we'll be able to fill your tanks quickly and promptly. You won't have to leave them too long and come back the next morning. You should be able to have them filled whilst you wait. So we're excited about that.
Now at Cagers, is there where your boat's located? And do they still have the restaurant there?
Yeah,
and the motel?
The restaurant is there and the motel. It's a fantastic resort to stay at. The accommodation is great, and we can actually offer all-inclusive packages that include everything and whatever you like from the package. But they do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We can do box lunches on board. Our boats actually aren't located there. We're located at Andrus Boat Works in Rockport, which is just 2 minutes up the river, but for a group that's booked the boat, we can easily come into Cages Resort to pick them up and drop them off there. So it means that when they get back from their dive, they just drop their tanks right off at the end of the dock. They don't have to lug them anywhere. We'll just fill them right there, and then they can stay there overnight, and then in the morning, as they get ready to load the boat, they just grab the tanks on the way down the dock. So it works really well.
And what's your hours for your dive shop in Brockville, and what's the address?
Okay, so the address here at the Dive Brockville Adventure Center is 12 Water Street East, Brockville, Ontario, K6B1A1. The shop number is 613-345-2800. Our current hours are Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. But once we get to the May 2-4 weekend, the Victoria Day weekend, we'll be open 7 days a week. During the week, we'll be open from 9 till 6, and at the weekends, we open at 7 o'clock in the morning. Saturdays, we run until whenever we finish filling tanks. So usually give us a call to let us know that you're coming, and we'll wait for you if you're running behind. But we're very often here on a Saturday night till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning filling tanks. So come on down, and we open at 7 o'clock Sunday morning, and we usually try to close around 6, but again, if there are people that need fills, then we're sometimes here later. So we're here for you, and we have my cell number is posted right on the door. If anybody needs anything outside of those hours, you can call myself, and then I can come in, or any of my staff that live in the area. We're only like 10 minutes, 15 minutes away. We're more than happy to come in and help out a diver who wants to go diving. So my cell number, in case anyone needs it, is 613-246-3541.
Good. What about equipment? Do you have equipment rentals there, and what type of equipment do you sell?
We don't actually sell equipment. Most of our clients are coming from dive shops across Canada and the upper New York State, so we don't sell equipment, but we do sell all the accessories, all the trinkets. We do t-shirts and books and all the basic little dive accessories that you could use or need or sometimes just want to have dangling off your equipment. But we have all the essentials that you will buy, you know, things that you might lose or forget at home, such as gloves, hoods, booties, fins, masks, snorkels, that kind of a thing. We have that all in, and our new inventory should be coming in shortly. We've got a full rental department, so we've got rental packages for the day or for the weekend. So if anybody needs rentals, they're there. We're actually revamping our rental department this year, and we're getting a bunch of nice new stuff in. So if anybody has been renting with us before, they're going to see some new product lines in this year. And then we can also, with pre-booking, we can also get any of these rentals available at the Cages operation as well, which we've called Air by A-Bucks.
Yeah. Now, what wrecks do you normally go out, take people out on? Which ones do you usually go out to?
Okay, well, we've got some main wrecks that we take our paying customers to. There are some additional places to go that, you know, maybe a little deeper, maybe a little shallower, but and there isn't so much of the wrecks. But the main wrecks that we do are in pristine condition. I guess one of the two most common wrecks that we do in the Brockville area, which the Heli and Not a River Queen services, is the Gascon. The Gascon is was launched as a double-masted schooner and converted to a workboat, which basically means they chopped the masts off. But she's got kind of a cool little story. She's the only boat that I know of that sank not once, not twice, but 3 times. So she was actually sent out as a workboat to help salvage the Armstrong, which was a ferry boat that used to run from Brockville, right here on Ferry Street, opposite the shop here, to Watertown. Sorry, not Watertown, Morrisburg, which is right here. Nope, not even Morrisburg. Get it right. Morristown. My goodness, it's been a long winter. So anyways, the ferry boat used to run, so the Armstrong took off and sank just outside of Brockville. So they sent the Gascon out to salvage her, and they used to put big pontoons down there and then pump steam into the pontoons, and that used to raise the boat up to the surface. And unfortunately for the Gascon, one of those pontoons broke free, torpedoed to the surface, and smashed through her starboard bow. So needless to say, she sank right on top of the Armstrong. Now, when you go down there, you can easily see the damage to the starboard bow and know exactly why she sank. You'll see that big hole on the starboard side. So they then raised the Gascon, and unfortunately now, as they're starting to get her up, one of the couplings broke free, and she sank a second time. So now they decided, okay, let's get her up. So they got her to the surface and started towing her to dry dock, and now her stern pulled away, and she sank for a 3rd time. And I guess they decided 3 times, and you're out. So to our benefit, they left her there. They later went on to salvage the Armstrong, so unfortunately for us, there is only the 1 wreck of the Gascon and not the 2 of them. And the Armstrong actually went back into service as a ferry boat. The Gascon is a fabulous dive site for anybody that hasn't dove in the area before, that isn't familiar with diving in fresh water that's warm and in a river. So there is a mild current, but it is there. But it's sitting at 60 feet on a fairly firm clay bottom. And with that mild current, it's perfect for every diver. So we take a lot of our newer divers on there. There has been some damage over the last 20 years. We've actually been operating now in this area for 21 years, believe it or not. When we first started diving, it was in pristine condition. Now the upper deck is showing a little bit of wear and tear from all those new divers coming down with maybe not so good buoyancy skills. But the benefit to that is that this is now a shipwreck that anybody that wants to start learning about a little bit of penetration, it's also a great wreck to do the course on. Just get your appetite wet. Please take the course. Definitely a benefit to do the penetration course. But you can go in and through so many areas. There's so many swim-throughs that it's a very safe wreck to go inside. And so for the newer divers that are just starting to get their feet wet, so to speak, it's a fantastic wreck and it's lots of fun without being, you know, too technical. So the Gascon is a great site. The other one that we take our newer divers on is the Lily Parsons. This one sits mostly at 50 feet. The mast, the ends of the crow's nest, is in about 70 feet. Now this one has a really swift current, but we use this to our advantage for the newer divers because there's a chain that was put in with some concrete blocks to pull yourself up along the wreck so you don't have to claw yourself up the side and potentially damage the wreck itself. But once you've gone around the wreck a couple of times, you want to pull yourself up and over the top and then just let go and just drift with the current. And we just say you just fly over the whole top of the wreck, kind of do your Superman impression. And then the neat thing about this wreck dive is it then becomes a drift dive. And the current itself, if you want to ascend to about 30 feet and just stay close to the island, that current will naturally swing you around into the bay where the boat is waiting for you to pick you up. Some of the more technical divers that want to do a deeper dive can just drop over the wall and into the Brockville Narrows. It goes down to about 140 feet, and they can do their drift and then come up the wall. Or for those that don't want to go quite that deep, they just stay and continue their drift down the side of the Narrows, and the boat will come and pick them up down the side. Obviously, we have to plan one way or the other, but that's a really fun dive, and people come back every year to do that drift dive because it's just so much fun.
Yeah, I've done that several times. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What about some of the other wrecks that you get to?
Okay, so in the Brockville area, we also have the Muskellunge, which is sitting at about 90 to 100 feet. This is a really cool shipwreck. It was a steamer, a tugboat, and she was the largest of her kind on the river at the time. She caught fire, and the captain headed into shore to try to, help put the fire out, and they had the Brockville department coming on the ferry boat to help put the fire out too, but they solved the problem when the boat sank, the fire went out, but not before one of the boilers exploded. So the ship itself it truly is a shipwreck. It's an open hull, but this one is a fabulous site to go to if you like fish. The Muskellunge attracts the fish called the Muskellunge, which is kind of ironic, really. But they're good-sized fish, and it's just kind of cool to see them down there. They just love this particular site. So for anybody that likes to see some marine life, this is a great shipwreck to go to. And it's kind of cool because one of the boilers is still there, and there's a lot of ship's parts down there. So even though it's an open hull, it's another great wreck to do. There's a bit of more of a current on this one. It's a medium current, but you can use the ship itself. It's got a windward side and a leeward side, so if you want to get out of the current, you just drop down beside the wreck, and then the ship will protect you. So that one's kind of cool. The other one that's really nice to do in the Brockville area is the Darrier, and this is a ship that went down on a foggy night before we had GPS. She ended up hitting the shoal. She didn't quite make the turn to make the turn into the Brockville Narrows. You come across from the American side to the Canadian side, crossover, and hit up on the shoal there. She took a little while to go down, so there was no loss of life, but when they were trying to salvage the vessel itself, she slipped and flipped over and ended up in about 90 feet of water in a fairly stiff current, heading with her bow directly up current. So this is more of an advanced dive because you need to be pretty confident to pull yourself down the line in that strong current to get down, and because the ship is upside down, it's very much an overhead environment. So you need to have had the correct training to go on this one. But once you're under there, it's a really cool ship. There's lots to see. There's lots of places to explore. And we have lots of groups that will come out every night in the summer, and they just explore the Darrier, all the little areas. There's a couple of air pockets down there, which is a lot of fun. I'm sure you've experienced that one too, Skip. But there's also a few friendly meals on the Darrier.
Several times.
Yes. And they've actually, they're having, if I can just put this in, they're actually having some research on the eels. The eels that we have in the area have been designated endangered. And so they're asking the scuba divers in the area to assist them with their research. And if they see any eels, either dead or alive, they're asking them to help with this study and to report it. And if they find a dead eel or a sickly eel, to actually bring it up and make a phone call, and they will come and pick it up. And they will use that for research to help figure out what's going on with the eels, because the population has declined significantly in the last few years. So on the Darrier itself, we've got
you don't see eels.
There.
Eels are almost extinct. They're not even around here that much anymore. Used to be, you go down, you see them all the time, and I guess it's something's happened to them. I don't know what.
Yeah. So they that's trying to figure out.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to help out something like that. Do you drive the Drobo? Was it the King? Is it?
Yeah, the
JB King, is it?
Again, it's a technical dive site that we take our technical divers on. It goes down to 140 feet. It's in a very swift current. It's a wreck that a lot of divers will do in preparation to move on and do the Jodrey, which is on the U.S. side, which starts at 165 feet and goes down to 240. And the JB King is one that it's just a really cool dive to do. It was a dynamite barge that actually got hit by lightning, and there was quite a number of lives lost on that one. And they actually have a little commemorative excuse me, plaque up on Coburn Island. And so, yes, it's not one that we take our mainstream divers to, but by request, we will do the JB King, yes, for sure.
Yeah, I remember there was a small steamboat alongside it. I can't remember just exactly what it was. It was like a work boat or something that they had, but it was a steam-driven job.
Yes, it was a 30-foot workboat, steamboat, that's correct. And actually, Schneider, Mr. Schneider was one of the survivors, one of the few survivors, and I think it was because he was actually sitting on that workboat. So he was still rescued from the water because that workboat went down, but he survived, and he only just passed away, I think, last year, maybe the year before. So he survived and carried on life, and so it was kind of neat to meet him and his. Yes. So we also do the wrecks up.
What about?
So we have the boats. Obviously, we've got 2 in Rockport and 2 in Brockville. So the boats in Rockport will actually do the Kinghorn, which is right off the Canadian docks. It can be done from shore if you have a scooter or adults, because it's really a little too far for the average diver to swim out to, but it's not impossible. But it's a really nice little wreck. It's very similar to the Gascon. It's an old wooden barge, went down in the 1800s. It's in pretty good shape, but it has a fantastic ship's wheel on it, and it's got some really pretty ship's parts. It's like a real pirate boat. I've had a few people say that when they go down there, it's just a pretty wreck. There's so many bits and pieces on there. The local divers have added to the ambiance by putting in some crockery and some stuff that they found on the riverbed to just sort of make it an underwater museum, which is kind of cool. We've got a few fun things that have been added over the years as well. I think there's a couple of lawn jockeys holding lanterns under the bow, and somebody's put a praying Jesus on the top part of the bow. So it's kind of a fun wreck, and I think last year, if it's still there this year, somebody had put a bicycle up against the cement block, one of the mooring blocks that we have, like somebody's just biked over to go for a dive and left their bike there. It's like it's sitting there like somebody's waiting to, come and pick it up and cycle home. So it's a really fun wreck to do. It's sitting at about 90 feet as well, so we usually ask for an advanced certification. And actually, just whilst we're on that subject, as a dive charter operator, I always say to people who say to me, well, what certification level do you need to do these dives? We don't always base it just on your certification card that you hold. A lot of people will do their open water certification and then actually not take any more courses. But over the course of 10, 15, 20 years, they've been active divers and they've got the dives in. For people that can show us their logbook or show that they dove extensively or actively over the years, then we will be more than happy to take them on a more advanced dive site as long as we feel comfortable that they've got that experience level. So just because somebody's got an open water card only doesn't mean we won't take them on any of the other shipwrecks. So I just like to throw that in there.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Sorry.
Do you take people like bottle hunting or anything like that, looking for bottles? Do you do bottle dives, in other words?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a couple of spots that we can take people. There's a couple of known dumping grounds where people used to throw their garbage out on the ice, and then obviously when the ice melts, it all drops to the bottom. So there's still some stuff to be found. There's clay pipes out there. There's torpedo bottles. There's lots of different just old-style bottles, a lot of medicine bottles that can still be found. And so, yes, we have people come out that will do specific bottle hunting or just a regular drift dive just to see the flora and fauna and the rock formations and stuff on the sides of the islands. The Ash Island wreck is a great site to go to because it's a combination of a wreck dive of a belly dumper that went down, but it's also a wall dive because there's a beautiful wall of Ash Island with white periwinkle shells, which just make it look really pretty. And then you can also do a drift around in that little bay area as well, so that's a really cool dive site. That's also just up from Rockport. But the fun dive, I think the one that I've left the best for last, is the Keystorm. Everybody loves the Keystorm. Keystorm hit a shoal. It's a 256-foot steel canal that went down, and the nice thing about it is the bow sits at 25 feet right on that shoal. The stern drops down to about 112, 115 feet. There's virtually no current on this site because she's shielded from the current by the shoal that she hit. And so this dive site could be for everybody. We can take a group of 20 people out there and everybody can do this dive site because the newer divers can stick to the 60 feet. Excuse me. And the more experienced divers could go deeper. There's tons to explore. There's holes, there's portholes. We always tell people that their mission, if they choose to accept it, is to count how many bathtubs and toilets they can find. It's just a really fun wreck. And then right at 30 feet is the most amazing wheelhouse. And we've got some just amazing pictures. If the sun is shining down and it streams through that wheelhouse, it just makes an awesome photo opportunity for everybody. And it's a great place to do your safety stop on the way up.
I've done so many dives on the Keystorm, I think I know it by heart. Every rivet in it.
Yeah, and it's a really cool wreck. It's one
of course, it's got the prop on.
Yeah. There's also
it's got the prop on the stern there. Yeah.
Yeah. There's also the America, which is right opposite the beautiful Singer Castle. So we always joke with people that we do, the castle tour. Whenever we go over to the U.S. side, everybody does need to have a passport. We do have to go through customs. We've made it pretty seamless these days. Initially, it was, a little bit difficult, but now we seem to have got the routine down pat, and so we do need everybody's full name, date of birth, passport number, and everything ahead of the dive, usually 48 hours in advance, earlier if possible. But we go to Bolt Castle to go to customs. They check everyone's passport, and then we're off on our way. So it's kind of a bonus because it's a beautiful castle, and we'll usually go around it so everybody can take pictures. If any group that had booked the boat for the day wanted, we could actually stop at the castle, and they can actually do the tour. We've done that with several groups. And then we go on to, after they've done the Keystorm, we go on to the America, which is opposite Singer Castle. And the same thing, we can actually stop at the castle if we request it. We've also done it where if there were any non-divers on board, we would drop them off at Singer Castle for the tour whilst we took the divers out to dive on the America, and it takes about the same time. So that's kind of a neat thing to do on the U.S. side. And then again, we also have the Vickery, which has that fabulous bow. You come down the line and there's this beautiful, awesome bow that just comes into view. That's a little bit more of a technical dive site. Goes down to about 120 feet and is also in a fairly strong current, but that's a really, really fun dive to do as well.
Yeah, we've got the Clayton Diving Club's got a lit buoy that's going to go on the A Vickery, and we've got a lit buoy eventually that's going to go on the Keystorm.
Oh,
So
fantastic. That's great.
we've got them. We've got them. We're working on permits right now.
Excellent. And I think we've pretty
Got
much
one more
got,
permit to get, and we'll be able to put them in.
yeah, I think we've pretty much, on the Canadian side, we've got 2 buoys on every wreck. So if there's any boats that come over, or any of the other boats, whether they're private or commercial, we've got 2 moorings for each of the shipwrecks. So it means that there shouldn't be
Yep.
just getting time on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good. You covered everything pretty good. Are you planning on coming over or having some people come over Saturday or for our trash dive?
I've
Or
mentioned
you're probably too busy to come. I realize that.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be sitting in the shop all day, obviously. I think Vince has a charter to take out. A lot of my staff aren't back from university yet, so I'm not sure. I've mentioned it to a couple of the staff that are here, and if I can persuade them to go over. Some of them, have been down south for the winter, and so they find the water still a little too cold. They've become warm water wusses. So we'll see.
That's what they get for going south, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. You gave the contact information earlier, but why don't you give your contact information again before we close out, so that everybody have a chance to see it at the end too.
Okay, so the Dive Brockville Adventure Center, you can get all the information at www.divebrockville.com. All our contact information is there. But the store is located at 12 Water Street East, Brockville, Ontario, K6V1E1. You can call the store directly at 613-345-2800. Anytime or anything you need after hours, call myself, Helen, on my cell, 613-246-3541. Anything I can help out with, I will. And then our satellite air station is located at Cages Resort, which is on the Thousand Island Parkway in Rockport. But I don't know what the address is. I think it's 853 Thousand Island Parkway. And that is, I haven't actually set the hours for that one, but again, if anybody needs fills and I'm not there, then just call myself, 613-246-3541, and we can get somebody there to fill. We will actually have somebody from Cages on staff.
Yep.
We'll be able to fill tanks if it's closed and somebody needs fills. But at the very least, I'm about 15, 20 minutes away, so can take care of everybody.
Yeah. And I can recommend Cagers for a dinner over there, because I've ate several times over there, and it's great food. It really is. They have great food there.
Yeah, they do. And also, usually
Scott, where was the
Friday,
next one?
Friday and Saturday night, they usually have a live band too.
Company that makes wets
Where is this guy?
in Europe.
In where?
Europe.
Europe. Okay. Thank you for your attending our Divers Talk. Next week, we're having a company from Europe that does wetsuits, and they should be kind of interesting. We'll probably have a lot of displays on them and what have you. So until next week, this is Skip Couch at diverstalk.com, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Thank you again, Helen, and maybe we'll see you one of our dives out there.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Thank you, Skip.
Have a good night.
You too.
When a pirate named Bill Johnston